Tech for Seniors, episode 64. It is June the 14th, 2021. Good morning, everyone, or I guess good day, everyone. It's great to have everyone here. Thank you for coming. Your enthusiasm is infectious. We all thrive on that, and so thank you so much for coming. We have about, let's see, what have we got? About 88 people with our Zoom meeting and a whole bunch over on the streaming service as well. Just want to let everybody know the meeting format today is always a little bit different, whether you're on our Zoom meeting or whether you're on our streaming service. So today, for those of you in the Zoom meeting, the meeting will be, we have a really big meeting for you, an action-packed meeting today for you, and it will be, it'll be on for 60 minutes, and then at the end of the top of the hour, we will have a question and answer period, and we will answer your questions. For those of you over on our streaming service, we'll have, the meeting will go for about 50 minutes, and just prior to the music segment, we'll be stopping the broadcast onto our YouTube service. So it'll go for about 50 minutes, and we don't have a question and answer period for that. So that's a little bit different. So, and don't forget, we tape these, tape all the shows, and you can either watch them as our stream, which you're over on YouTube now, or usually by this afternoon, I'll have the taped version up on YouTube, and you can watch it later on. A lot of people do watch it later in the day. They probably can't make the meeting this morning, so they watch it later on in the afternoon. I usually get the meetings up by about 4 in the afternoon. For those of you who saw our Saturday newsletter, you'll notice that I made a bunch of changes in the Saturday newsletter, and you'll find sort of how do you find things in YouTube or in Tech for Senior. We've made actually quite a number of videos about this. I went back and looked at the videos Hewie and I and Bob made, and I thought, well, I'm going to put the links and put these into our newsletter, so it's there, and it'll be out every Saturday on the Saturday edition, and all those links are there. My advice is to look at them and then bookmark them, and you'll have them. So, and again, we'll be having our Thursday meeting this week, and this I'm so excited. This Thursday, Tech for Senior Live, we are going to have Bill James on. Yes, Bill is going to be on, and Bill's waving now, and Bill is a gadget guy, and he has given me, I said, Bill, I want you to talk about the top 3 gadgets that you have. So he's told me what they are. I'm not going to tell you anyone what they are, and he's going to reveal those on Thursday. So we're going to have a great talk on Thursday. So if you haven't seen us on Thursday morning, drop by and we talk tech. And so it's going to be a fun morning. Thank you again for those of you who have donated some money for Tech for Senior. We had 2 donations come in this week. I want to thank Roland Thoburn, Thoburn, and Elliot Jones. Thank you so much for generously donating to Tech for Senior. That money goes to helping us keep this on the air and for the services that we do. So thank you so much. This time I'd like to introduce our staff. And Hewie, where the heck is Hewie? There is Hewie. Do you want to unmute yourself and tell us how well you did on Sunday with your Win Sig group? That was really, you had a huge turnout this week, eh?
Yeah, we had 67, which is unusual. Usually we have 30, 35 or so. It was a good crowd. We did a lot of topics, a lot of conversation. The recordings are up, and I'll drop in some links during the course of the meeting that you can go out and watch the video for the Windows SIG. And then right after it, John Kennedy did a talk on free and inexpensive, but mostly free open source software that you can download and run on Linux, Windows, or Macs. And he did a great job. And that's also recorded and online. And we thank everybody who joined us. And you're welcome to. Go ahead.
And it's free. It's free. So if somebody wanted to sort of find out how to come to the come to the session on Sunday, how would they do that?
Best way is just go to hewie.net and subscribe to my monthly Windows SIG newsletter.
Great. Thanks. That's great. Bob, how are you doing?
Just fine.
I see by the length of your segment today, the bad guys are winning.
Yeah, and I even had a special one that I put up on our Facebook page that happened after I finished the long video.
Oh my heavens. That's okay. Well, we'll learn all about it shortly. And then Dewey, unmute yourself and tell us about your new deck you're putting up there behind you.
Well, actually, I'm not putting up a deck, but in the extreme upper right-hand corner, in the screen house, I'm installing a 16-inch oscillating fan. Actually, it's a wall fan, and it's going to be great because Joanne and I spend a lot of time out there on beautiful summer evenings. We have a TV out there, and that's our evening entertainment.
Great. Hey, do you realize it's only 4 months till we head down to Mesa?
Well, we'll be seeing you there, I guess.
Yeah, it's not that long ago. And Ray, you're getting ready for RVing season.
Well, yeah, I'm taking a week-long trip. You know, it's getting pretty hot up here. It was 101 yesterday. So I decided I'm going to go to New Mexico only to find out that it's 102 there.
Yikes.
But there's a place called Bottomless Lakes. And then I'm going to check out Roswell, and I'll let you know if there really are aliens there.
Oh, yeah. We went through Roswell. Yeah, that's sort of cool.
There are
we didn't
aliens
see any
there for sure. We were there. They stole our mail one time.
The aliens did?
Yeah. Swear to God.
Indeed. So yeah, well, have a good trip. You're going to be away next week?
I'll be away next week, but I pre-recorded already my segment, so you'll be able to catch the tune. Excellent.
Thanks so much. And if you have not, please, I still find people who are emailing me wanting to know stuff, and the first thing I check and say if they subscribe to the newsletter, because that's where all the information is, and I see that they haven't. So I keep mentioning this, if you have not subscribed to the newsletter, please do so. It really is not a newsletter. It's more of an electronic communication between us and you. And that's really, we're not a membership organization. The only way we know about you is when you come to the meeting, or if you sign up for the newsletter. What happened a year ago was episode 12. This was episode 12. We had actually one of our first guest speakers on. We had Michael Daniels on, which was I forgot it was a year ago. Wow, we should get Michael back on. We had him on, and Hewie talked about weather apps, and this was episode 12. So if you're interested in the latest weather apps, go back and see episode 12, and Hewie's got a section there on weather apps. Also, just to remind everybody that Ellen Farnham is doing the indexing of all these shows, so that if you want to go back and look at some prior editions of Tech for Senior, and you're wondering how do I find the weather app, for example, you can actually search that and you'll find it. So we even did a video about it, so it's all there for you. All right, let's get on with the show. Bob, are you ready to roll?
Here is the Avast
There we go.
News Roundup for the week ending June 11th, 2021. Colonial Pipeline ransomware attack was caused by the theft of one single password. Colonial Pipeline CEO Joseph Blount told a U.S. Senate committee that the ransomware attack that disrupted fuel distribution to the majority of the eastern United States was caused by attackers stealing a single password that protected Enterprise's VPN. In the case of this particular legacy VPN, it only had single-factor authentication. Blount informed the panel convened this week in order to examine the attack and other similar threats to U.S. infrastructure. The single password theft cost the company 75 bitcoins, or $5 million, which it paid to the ransomers believed to be DarkSide, a group that has since shuttered operations. Reuters reported that some senators on the panel suggested Colonial should have consulted with the government before deciding to pay the ransom, as paying ransom is an act that goes against federal guidelines. Blount reported that he understood the decision to pay or not pay was a private matter to be handled within the company. Even though they received the ransom key, Blount said the company's IT infrastructure was still in recovery mode. On Monday, the Justice Department announced it had recovered 60 of Colonial's 75 bitcoins, though the value of the bitcoins has decreased. Ransomware gang targets sonic wall devices. Researchers have noticed a ransomware trend developing this year. Cybercrime groups are targeting sonic wall devices in order to breach corporate networks and deploy ransomware. According to the record, this continues a pattern that has been ongoing since 2019, where that angle of approach has been through security equipment itself. In this case, the equipment consists of Sonic Wall's VPN and network gateways. Companies are urged to apply all the latest patches to their equipment and to add two-factor authentication to all Sonic Wall systems. Global crime sting. Some 16 countries were involved in the operation that was headed by the FBI and Europol, along with Dutch and Swedish police. Over 18 months, they had access to more than 27 million messages sent over the Anam app. As a result of the cooperative efforts, police were able to make more than 800 arrests and search 700 locations. The app was installed on stripped-back cell phones that were purchased on the black market, with the platform hidden within the calculator feature. Criminals then divulged plans of drug trafficking, murder plots, money laundering, and more. Police in more than a dozen countries, in an operation dubbed Trojan Shield, were then able to access more than 27 million messages across 20,000 devices, leading to more than 800 arrests, 32 tons of drugs seized, and more than 148 million in cash and cryptocurrency recovered. Read about the fugitive who inadvertently helped the operation get off the ground by following the link listed below. WWDC announces Siri overhaul for privacy. At Apple's Worldwide Developers Conference this week, the company announced that starting with iOS 15 this autumn, Siri will begin processing audio on devices, meaning that users' queries will no longer be routed through Apple's servers. The benefits will be twofold: more privacy and quicker response time. Apple announced other privacy initiatives as well, including mail privacy protection, which will block email tracking, and iCloud Plus, which will encrypt all traffic and send it through Apple's servers to mask the user's ID. Read more at The Guardian. Find My will locate your iPhone even when powered off. Another feature of iOS 15 is the ability of the Find My network to locate a user's iPhone even when the phone is powered off or has been factory reset. 9to5Mac posted that with iOS 15, the phone will never really be powered off, but instead remain in a low power state that acts like an AirTag for the Find My network. Users will be alerted of the new feature when the battery power runs low for the first time with iOS 15. To make the iPhone actually turn off, users will have to disable the low power Find My mode in settings. Microsoft, Adobe, and Intel release giant Patch Tuesday updates. This week's Patch Tuesday was a big one across the computer industry, with Microsoft patching 50 flaws, Adobe patching 41, and Intel patching 73. The Microsoft update includes patches for 7 zero-day vulnerabilities, 6 of which have been exploited in the past. The Adobe update includes fixes for bugs found in 10 applications, including Acrobat Reader and Photoshop. The Intel update, amidst its 73 fixes, addresses 5 high-severity vulnerabilities impacting the Intel virtualization technology for directed I/O products, the BIOS firmware for some Intel processors, and the Intel Security Library. Now that you have all this information, make sure that you update. What do security cameras know about you? There's a big difference between those early home surveillance systems and the ones out there today. The difference is the fact that they're hooked up to the internet. So let's take a look at what security cameras in my and your neighborhood know about me and you. Obviously, every neighborhood is different and is going to have varying levels of surveillance. For example, if you live in public housing, you can probably expect that your building has some level of security systems that's monitored by the government agency that rents your building. On the other hand, if you live in a neighborhood that's primarily single-family homes, you're more likely to be watched by a variety of different private home security systems. And if you have shops in the neighborhood, you might also be surveilled by closed-circuit television cameras or other private security systems. Each of these presents a different potential privacy issue. The kind of internet-enabled video surveillance which is prevalent now can have increased privacy risks over more traditional CCTV approaches because it is more widely adopted by private citizens and thus may appear in new contexts. Where you previously expected to be surveilled in a shop, do you now have to expect it in our outside your friends' homes? Avast Chief Privacy Officer Shane McNamee says they're also often set up in a way that involves the recording being transmitted to and stored by third parties on their servers. Unlike traditional CCTV setups, which normally stored recordings locally and for a limited time. If we're looking at just the private home, the top 10 home security brands are Nest Camera, Arlo, Google Nest, Amazon Ring, Blink, Logitech, Reolink, Argus 2, NetAtmo, Welcome, Ventura NP Pro, Canary Flex, and YL Home Camera. Each brand collects different levels of data and does different things with them. So it's going to be pretty difficult to figure out what exactly is being collected, stored in any given neighborhood. For example, some of the popular home surveillance systems are owned by companies that are known to suck up data. Ring, which is owned by Amazon, is the most obvious and well-known example of this. Don't forget about Amazon Sidewalk, which potentially increases this camera's abilities. Others don't. It's really going to vary from company to company. All the companies collect personal info about the owner of the device, both in order to provide the service they paid for and, in some cases, to put into their pool of data about users. They all also record and store video and audio recordings for a set amount of time based on the owner's preference. It's kind of impossible to know exactly what's being recorded and stored about you by your neighbor's security cameras. Additionally, homeowners now post video of package thieves and attempted home entry to hyper-local social media sites like Nextdoor, sharing their information to an even broader audience than ever before. And when and if Amazon and other surveillance companies start incorporating facial recognition software into their product, the privacy implications will be massive. And that wraps up this week's Avast Security News Roundup. Stay safe, stay secure. I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
Well, thanks, Bob. So my Arlo cameras are storing stuff on the line.
So
All right.
all the others.
Yeah, exactly. All right. We will get on now and see what Dewey has to say today. We'll see what he has to say.
Good morning, friends. I'm Dewey, and my Tech Talk topic for today is, and today is Flag Day, June 14th, 2021. Tech Talk topic is a tech news update. CNET.com reminded us last Friday that Amazon Prime Day 2021, once again a two-day affair, is coming next week, Monday and Tuesday, June 21 and 22. Both Target and Walmart have announced competing sales as well. There's a gaggle of excellent deals on just about everything, like a $10 discount at Amazon on the Fire TV Stick 4K to 40% off on the TiVo 4K stream at Walmart. Here's a sample of some other streaming bargains. I'll let you read them. On Saturday, June 12th, ReviewGeek.com published an even longer list from Amazon's official Prime Day landing page. Here are some of the more outstanding bargains there. Again, I'll let you read them on your own. CordCuttersNews.com recently reported that ATSC 3.0 is now live in Grand Rapids, Michigan, with 6 stations broadcasting at the Next Gen TV standard. This is the 26th market to introduce Next Gen TV. 3.0, also known as Next Gen TV, as you may recall from my episode 55 and 56 Tech Talks, is a major leap in broadcast TV, video, and audio quality that's set to replace the current 1.0 standard in the US by 2026. Participating stations have cooperated to ensure that current programming remains available to all viewers, regardless of whether their television service is provided over the air or by a cable or satellite company. Next Gen TV shouldn't be confused with Locast, a streaming service that provides local over-the-air broadcast TV programs in the US at low cost. Locast is now operating in 32 US markets that cover half of the US population. HowToGeek.com reported on June 12th that the recent release of Chrome 91 had several security flaws that were exploited, including a zero-day exploit. These vulnerabilities in Chrome 91 are present in both the desktop and Android versions. Chrome version 91.0.4472.101 is now rolling out on both platforms with the necessary fixes, and you should install them as soon as possible. Now, a zero-day vulnerability can create complicated problems well before anyone realizes something is wrong. In fact, a zero-day exploit leaves no opportunity for detection. TheVerge.com recently carried a story entitled USB-C is about to go from 100 watts to 240 watts. That's enough to power even beefier laptops. Eventually, the majority of portable PCs will no longer need a proprietary power brick to charge the battery. The USB Implementers Forum, which is known as USB-IF, announced that it's more than doubling the amount of power to 240 watts that can be sent over a USB cable. This means that you'll be able to plug in the same kind of multipurpose USB-C cable you currently use on lightweight laptops, tablets, and phones to charge all but the most power demanding laptops. Previously, the USB-C power delivery spec topped out, sorry, I misspelled topped out at 100 watts. For example, while my own Dell XPS 15 can technically charge over USB-C, it needs 130 watts of power to charge and run at full bore simultaneously. If the USB-IF Implementers Forum is calling the new 240 watt standard extended power range, or EPR for short. You'll need a new USB-C chargers and cables to take advantage of the new spec, of course. All EPR cables shall be visibly identified with EPR cable identification items, reads part of the USB-IF's requirement for the new spec. A cable will need to support up to, that would be USB-C cable, will need to support up to 5 amps and 50 volts to be compliant. On June 9th, TheVerge.com reported that SpaceX's Starlink is in talks with several airlines to beam Wi-Fi internet to their airplanes. Expanding Starlink from rural homes and onto airlines is an expected move for Elon Musk's space company as it races to open the broadband network commercially later this year. A Starlink spokesman said, "We have our own aviation product in development, and we've already done some demonstrations to date and are looking to get our product finalized to be put on aircraft in the very near future." Google announced a bunch of new features via the xda-developers.com website for Chromecast with Google TV and Nest devices. Now, the first is a Sling TV home screen integration, which is rolling out to Chromecast with Google TV. When implemented, Google TV users will be able to navigate and browse live shows served from Sling straight from the home screen. Users will need to link their Sling TV account using the Google Home app on their phone to get started. They can then access the Sling TV guide by navigating to the Live tab, which up until now only worked with YouTube TV, which is of course also owned by Google. Next up, Nest users can now customize which events they want to see in their Google Home feed. If you have multiple smart home devices, the Google Home feed can get crowded quickly, making it harder to track important notifications. You'll now be able to choose to hide notifications from certain categories and prioritize the ones that are more important to you. Finally, listen to this. Google will soon bring a new feature to Nest Smart Display that will allow users to make dinner reservations with a simple voice command. Who would have thunk? Verizon is rolling out its 5G internet service to more US cities this month, bringing the total to 40, according to a story in 9to5mac.com. Along with blazing internet speeds and self-setup, Verizon is hoping to entice new customers by reimbursing them up to $500 for early termination fee costs imposed by their existing internet provider. As I mentioned in my Tech Talk News update in late April, Verizon's millimeter wave network provides the backbone, which is the core network, for their 5G home internet service. Verizon's 5G home internet costs $50 a month for existing customers and $70 for others. Verizon is also offering $100 off your bill if you sign up before June 22nd. Verizon says their home internet service offers up to 1 gigabyte speeds, but averages about 300 megabits per second. And that ain't slow, I gotta tell you. There are no annual contracts, data caps, or throttling, and the price includes equipment fees and taxes. Now here's the new list of cities with Verizon's 5G home internet. You can study them and find your city, or your nearest city. As you may remember, Joanne and I live in a western suburb of Minneapolis. Recently, the Minneapolis Star Tribune newspaper reported that Verizon has installed over 700 new cellular poles, as they call them, blanketing several Minneapolis neighborhoods and deploying a type of 5G technology that allows fast internet speeds but travels shorter distances. In other words, Verizon's 5G home internet. Now, Verizon's service can deliver up speeds that are up to 10 to 20 times faster than fourth generation LTE technology. This could help autonomous cars communicate, enable new uses for virtual reality, and download a high-def movie in 30 seconds, really fast. This photo was taken in a South Minneapolis neighborhood in March. Note the 5G transmission tower at the left. The Star Tribune also mused that cellular transmitting antennas were once affixed to massive cellular towers, but now hang from school buildings, streetlights, and standalone poles. Well, that's my Tech Talk story for today, and I am sticking with it. Stay safe, and we'll see you next week.
Well, thank you. Thanks a lot. That was good. Now, I would encourage everyone, as you all know, this is a rapidly changing area, and look at your internet service provider now, and I would strongly encourage everyone to go out and reassess, because like Dewey said, this is a rapidly changing field and new services are getting added monthly, and you want to make sure you're getting the best deal. And if you've got an old plan that you've been had for years, you probably will get a lot better deal. So go out and reassess this. All right, let's get on. I've got a little something for you today. We'll share that. And let's talk about blood tests.
It's Ron Brown with Tech for Seniors. Hey, have you seen your doctor this year? If you did, there's a very good chance they did a blood test. Ouch! A poke in the arm. The needle goes in, and my blood flows out to the tubes. But my new smartwatch is going to measure my blood sugar. Will this mean I don't have to get jabbed anymore? We all know that blood sugar is done to diagnose and treat diabetes. But what about a low thyroid, low red blood cells like anemia? Will watches prevent me from getting jabbed? What about the tricorder used by Leonard McCoy, sometimes called Bones, in that famous series Star Trek? No poke was needed to diagnose your ailment. So Stanford and Duke University collaborated on a 50-patient research study. Could the data they collected collaborate to give us an idea what a blood test result might look like? Let's have a look at the study. I'm going to go over that with you now and see what they found.
Smartwatches have been credited with saving lives in several states, but researchers from Duke University and Stanford University School of Medicine have shown that they can also predict the outcome of blood tests. Wearable data on heart rate, body temperature, and daily activity can be used to identify early indicators of some illness, as well as forecast the outcome of clinical blood tests your doctor requests during annual physicals or other appointments, according to the researchers, thanks in part to machine learning. Smartwatches can detect changes in your red blood cell count, dehydration, anemia, and even some illness, according to the study, which was published in Nature magazine. Simply put, the study's purpose was to investigate how changes in-person blood tests compared to long-term continuous data obtained by smartwatches. The researchers used an Intel-based smartwatch to track 54 patients for more than 3 years, measuring heart rate, step count,
skin temperature, and electrodermal activity. The latter is the same metric used by the Fitbit Sense to measure minute electrical changes in your perspiration. Regular clinical visits were also conducted to collect data on heart rate, red and white blood cell count, blood oxygen levels, glucose levels, and other indications using traditional methods, for example, heart rate monitors and blood tests. According to the finding, some combinations of wearable measurements may be able to provide insight into specific blood tests. For example, researchers discovered that a patient's low electrodermal output or lack of sweat indicated that he or she was consistently dehydrated. They also discovered that prolonged increases in body temperature when combined with a decrease in movement signaled illness, a finding that was backed up by higher white blood cell count in blood tests. Variations in heart rate have been found to predict blood oxygen changes. Lower exercise was also associated with anemia when combined with a greater heart rate. However, the researchers noticed that there were certain restrictions. While wearables can capture a lot of information, a lot of it isn't exact enough to forecast the number of red and white blood cells. Heart rate, body temperature, physical activity, and oxygen levels are also insufficient to precisely detect the ailment you may be suffering from. Nonetheless, these are remarkable results with far-reaching ramifications. While further research is needed, there is a strong possibility that long-term wearable data could aid clinicians in deciding therapy in emergency scenarios. Instead of waiting for lab tests in an emergency room, a doctor might hypothetically supplement that testing with your longitudinal data to try and figure out what's going on. At that moment, few of us have access to such information. The issue with existing in-person clinical blood tests is that you must be obtained in person, which can be invasive. Additionally, these tests only provide you a snapshot of your health, specifically your health on the way to your doctor's office. Random things like when you ate last, or if someone stressed you out on the way to the doctor, can affect your results. In a statement, Jesslyn Dunn, assistant professor of biomedical engineering at Duke, stated, "There is a circadian swing in heart rate and body temperature, but these single measurements in clinics don't capture that natural fluctuation. However, gadgets such as smartwatches and Fitbits can track these measurements and natural changes over time and determine when there is a deviation from the natural baseline." Scientists and researchers are well aware of this wearable advantage. Several experiments were launched during the pandemic to explore if smartwatches could identify cases of COVID-19. Although the results of those researches are still being compiled, there is reason to assume that wearables could play a role in determining how to deal with future pandemics. Beyond FDA-cleared ECGs and abnormal heart rate alarms, we're also seeing firms like Apple, Samsung, and Fitbit go into sophisticated health features. Apple and Samsung, for example, are said to be working on non-invasive ways to test blood glucose levels for their next generation of smartwatches. Fitbit has also made little attempt to hide the fact that the company has been working on a solution to diagnose sleep apnea for years. There are still significant obstacles to overcome before somebody can diagnose themselves by looking at their wrist. More clinical research is needed and sophisticated features that will need FDA approval before they can be used by the general public. Furthermore, medical experts are still finding out what to do if a patient shows up for an appointment and presents them a PDF with random data.
Wearables will never be able to take the position of a doctor or other medical expert. Nonetheless, research like this holds a lot of promise. In a press release, research co-author Michael Snyder, chair and professor of genetics at Stanford University of Medicine, said, "I think this is only the beginning. Devices are getting more sensitive and capable than ever before. People will be better equipped to grasp what is going on with their own health in real time as technology advances, just by wearing their wearable devices." That was pretty interesting, wasn't it? So will smartwatches prevent you from getting jabbed? Well, in the short term, your blood sugar for sure. But for other tests, it's going to be a little while and a lot more research. Will all the data that we're collecting on these smartwatches be valuable to your medical professional? Well, probably. Again, further research needs to be done. But we are getting so close. Let's look at two articles I reviewed last week. Engineers at Purdue University have developed a method for converting existing cloth items into battery-free, machine-washable wearables. These smart garments are wirelessly charged via flexible silk-based coil sewn into the fabric. In the not-too-distant future, all of our clothing will be intelligent. These smart garments will outperform passive garments due to their miniaturized electronic circuits and sensors, which will enable you to communicate seamlessly with your phone, your computer, car, and other machines. This intelligent clothing will not only increase your productivity, but will also monitor your health status and even call for assistance if you are involved in an accident. The reason that this is smart clothing is not yet ubiquitous in your closet is that its fabric is quite challenging, as clothes must be washed on a regular basis and electronics despise water. Purdue engineers have developed a new spray sewing technique for converting any conventional cloth into battery-free wearables that can be washed. The technology industry has consistently improved its foldable displays over the last few years, resulting in a plethora of durable options for smartphone and tablet users. Naturally, the next step would be to create a screen that is not only flexible, but also stretchable, which Samsung has recently accomplished. According to a press release from the Samsung Advanced Institute of Technology, or SATE, a team of researchers has developed a new stretchable electronic skin that can be stretched up to 30% without compromising the integrity of the components. It even includes a built-in heart rate monitor that displays your heart rate directly on the OLED display. Now, you know the routine. You know the click the like and subscribe to the channel. Please do that for us. It really helps us make these videos and keep you updated on medical technology. Till we see you again, Ron Brown with Tech for Seniors.
All right. Hewie, are you ready to roll?
Absolutely. Make sure I have my sound turned down.
Yeah.
Okay. How to pin applications and files to your Windows taskbar to access them easily. I'm Hewie Poplock. How to pin applications to the Windows taskbar. Pinning an application to the Windows taskbar only takes a few clicks, and you can do it directly from the Start menu. First, let's click the Start button or the Windows key on your keyboard. Clicking the Start button opens up our menu. Locate the application that you want to pin to the taskbar and right-click on it. We're going to take Word and we're going to right-mouse click on it. In the menu that appears, hover your mouse over the word More. Click on the Pin to Taskbar. If we click once on the word icon on the taskbar, it opens our Word application. How to pin files to the Windows taskbar. You can pin files to the Windows taskbar as well. However, it takes several more steps than pinning an application because you need to manipulate Windows programming slightly. First, we need to open the File Explorer, then go to where the file is that we want to work with. Click on the View tab, and then click on the file name extensions so that a check mark appears in the box next to it. Notice there is no extension on our file name, but when we click this box, file name extensions, it now put the extension for that document, which is a docx file. By default, Microsoft has the file name extensions unchecked or turned off. I recommend that they be turned on. So just by checking that and leaving it, if it wasn't it before, you'll have it always checked. And when you check it in one place, it does affect the entire computer. So you'll have your extensions wherever you go in File Manager. When the file name extensions are visible, they will appear at the end of the file name. Right-click on the document you want to pin to the taskbar. In the menu that appears, click on Rename. That's down here. Right-click on the document and select Rename to change its name. Change the doc or docx file extension in your document to exe. So what we're going to do is come over here and we are going to change that to exe. And then press enter. When you do, a small window will appear warning you about changing the file extension. Click yes. So it says if you change the file extension, the file might become unusable. Are you sure you want to change it? We're going to click yes. Now the file name is our example.exe. Changing a file's extension can change the file type itself. Now, right-click on the document, now a exe file, and click Pin to Taskbar. Right here. I click it, it put it down in the taskbar. Your document will now appear in your taskbar as an application. Right-click on the application. A submenu will appear. You right-click on that, click Properties. In the Target field, change the file name so the exe is replaced for whatever the original extension was, which was a docx. So you want to change the file name in the target field to match the original extension. Click the Change Icon button and click the icon that you would like to choose. You're going to have lots of choices. Let's look and see what we've got here. And we're going to try to find one. This one looks like a document. We're going to choose that. I'm going to click OK. You'll see it right here. So pick an icon you'll associate specifically with this document. Before you click OK or Apply in the Properties window, return to the File Explorer, rename the original file so that its exe extension matches its original extension. If you remember, that was a docx. Again, it's going to come up with this window warning. You're going to say yes. Now we have it back to a Word document. Now we're going to return to the properties window down here. Now we can say apply and then OK. Now there's one problem, and that is if we close this, you're going to see down here in the taskbar, it's the original icon. If we click that, it will open our document. However, in order for that icon to change, we have to either sign out of your Windows account and sign back in or reboot. We're going to do that to show you what it's going to look like. I can't continue the recording. I am going to stop it, reboot, and then restart the recording so that you can see the new icon in the taskbar. We have restarted our computer. You will see that the icon now has been changed in our taskbar. We can take that icon and we can drag it to a different location on the taskbar, so it's always there in a place where we know to find it. If we click on it, it opens up the document with one click. That's the advantage of having it in the taskbar. You can find it easily, but it also will start with one click and it will open. You can work on that document, close it, save it, and the next time you open it, the changes will be saved. You can continue to work on it. And when you finish that project and you no longer need it in the taskbar, if you right mouse click on it, you can unpin it from the taskbar. When you do, it goes away and it's gone. So you've learned how to pin an application to the taskbar and to pin a file to the taskbar. Thanks for joining. I'm Hewie Poplock. And there you go.
That's cool. That's pretty cool. I guess if you had a spreadsheet or something, or even a document that you were using all the time, then you could just have it down there, like maybe a document that you kept addresses in or something. You always wanted to refer to that document, eh?
And sometimes you're working on a project and you need to open that file, close it, do some other things, then come back to it. Or when you shut down at night, you want to be able to open it quickly the next day. Once you finish the project, you can unpin it and it goes away. It doesn't delete the file. When you unpin it, it doesn't delete it or anything. It just does. You don't have it in the taskbar.
Well, before we move on to the music segment, Ray, you'll be getting teeing up there. I'll be with you in just a sec. I'm stopping the live stream. Thank you, those of you who are on the live stream. Thank you for coming, and we'll see you at the same time next week. Ray, are you ready to roll?
Yes, sir. Let me share my screen. There we go. Let's share that sound for now. Okay, Marianne Faithful. And now I wanted to thank Muriel. She recommended Marianne Faithful to me a couple of weeks ago by leaving a name in the chat box. And I finally got around to it. And again, I encourage everybody else, if you have a name of an artist that you'd like me to focus on that I haven't done yet, just put a name in the chat box. Can't promise I'll do everyone, but I'll certainly try to. So when we think of the British invasion, and I'm not talking about the Revolutionary War, but music from the 1960s, what comes to mind? Well, certainly bands like the Beatles, Rolling Stones, Dave Clark 5, Jerry and the Pacemakers, my favorite, the Hollies. Need I go on? But would you include Marianne Faithfull? Now, she was born in London at the end of 1946. Would you include Marianne Faithfull in this category? Actually, Marianne has a very direct British invasion connection. Now, her first song to chart in 1964 in the US as well as in Britain was As Tears Go By. Not only was the song later covered by the Rolling Stones, but it was actually co-written by band members Mick Jagger and Keith Richards. So in fact, from 1966 to 1970, Marianne had a very public romantic relationship with Jagger. Now, not all was perfect in Faithfull's life, and for an extended period, she battled drug addiction. But by 1987, she put this part of her life behind her. She resumed her musical career, now with a focus more on jazz and blues. In April 2020, Marianne tested positive for COVID-19 and was hospitalized for 3 weeks. Now, she's still in recovery, and it's unclear if she will ever resume her singing career. VH1 lists her, Marianne Faithfull, at number 25 among the 100 greatest women of rock and roll. And in 2009, she received the World Lifetime Achievement at the Women's World Awards. So today's video clip has Mick Jagger introducing the song As Tears Go By with a collage of photos and videos from the past. All right, and let me, okay.
That's great. That
British
was real.
Invasion.
Yeah. Wow. Memories, right?
Yep.
Amazing. Listen, it is past the top of the hour. I want to thank everyone for coming today. We will see you back same time, same place in about a week's time. We'll move into the question and answer period in just a second. I want to thank everyone today for them. Thank Hewie. Well done. Good
Thank
job. I learned something today. You're always teaching me something new.
I hope so.
And Bob, we'll have to keep working on those bad guys. Seem to keep coming, eh?
Yeah, they never seem to want to go away. Even when you catch 600 of them, it doesn't change.
I know. And Dewey, you'll be back next week? Where did Dewey go?
I plan to be back.
Yeah, that's good. So
The
thanks
good
so
Lord
much
willing.
thanks so much for the news. That's it's just, but I guess the message really is keep looking because things are changing fast, eh?
I'm always on my toes looking. I read every day to find stories.
Thanks a lot. And Ray, we'll miss you next week.
I won't be here in person. I pre-recorded because I'll be on the road again.
I know.
And that might be a hint.
Yeah, don't tell anybody what it is. Don't tell anybody.
That might be a hint.
Used to be my theme song.
Don't tell
Used
anybody.
to be.
Okay.
Yeah. So, all right. So we'll see everybody next week. We're going to move into the question and answer period now. If you notice on the bottom of your screen, you'll see that there's a little button called reactions. And if you open that up, you'll see you can raise your hand. And what happens is when you raise your hand, you move right up to the top so we can see you. Because we have we've got about 80 people signed in and we have a bunch of screens, so I can't see the other screens. So when Eric put his hand up like right now, he moves right up to the top and we can see him and acknowledge him. So if you just raise your hand, that's great. Failing that, if you can't figure that out, yell or scream or do something, we'll
Like
acknowledge.
this.
Yeah,
Like this.
we'll acknowledge. But if you do that, Eric, go ahead. What's your question?
Yeah, I've got some television YouTube trouble. We've got 3 TVs on our cable system here in Arizona. We've got free YouTube accounts and we're signed in on all the TVs. My wife finds some programs either in subscriptions or on her phone and saves them in watch later. When we pick one of them to watch in our den, we see the image of the program, but when we select it, the screen goes completely blank. There's nothing happening. It does not play.
You lined up today?
One or both of the other TVs. Sometimes it works on another, sometimes it doesn't. Any ideas?
Now we're talking now just to be clear about this, Eric. We're talking about YouTube, not YouTube TV. You're watching YouTube on TV. You're not subscribing to the YouTube TV service. You're just watching YouTube. Okay. Well, that's very interesting. Yeah. And I must say that I watch YouTube. I watch YouTube on all my TVs here. I got 4 of them in the house here, and I switch. And I do exactly what you want to do, and I don't have that problem. So I'm not sure. I don't know.
Have you tried that link in your browser to make sure it actually works? Because if it doesn't work, you're going to get a blank screen.
Good point.
It's a possibility there's a problem with the link itself when it's being set up.
Well,
so if it doesn't work, go to your computer or your phone, whatever, and try the link there and see if that actually starts that video.
Yeah, my wife does that on her phone and it works fine. So, and then we'll go to another TV and that may work. And then we tried completely turning off the TV, turning it back on. We've tried logging out, logging back in, and it seems to be random, and there doesn't seem to be any repeatability that we can we can come up with.
And do you
We'll try
save? So the
Go
question is when you save the video that you want to watch, suppose you're looking at it and you say, I'm going to watch it later. Are you saving it on the TV or are you saving it on your phone?
Well, my wife would find it on her phone on YouTube
Oh, okay.
and then click to save. And I
Right.
think it would go into watch later.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, watch there.
And then we go find it. We see the image of
Right.
it on screen and we select it. And
it's just not
quite
playing.
often it is a blank, unresponsive screen, and we have to back out, and nothing works on YouTube.
Now, your TVs, are they all different TVs or all the same brand of TV?
All the same brand, all
All the same.
Samsung.
And
No.
are you using a service like DirecTV or? any
Well,
other-
it's I mean, we have a Cox cable,
Mhm.
and we're in there, and then the smart TV function. We've got several other like Amazon Prime and BritBox,
Mhm.
and they all PBS, and they all work fine.
Does anyone here, that we've got a group of 75 people out there, does anybody have an idea? We'll do our collective experience here of all our people on today. I don't have an easy answer for that one. Have you Googled it at all? Have you looked at that? Is anyone else on the same boat?
I admit I've not Googled it. It's a little complicated, but I will try to boil it down into a sentence or so.
My sort of
What about the reboot?
Well, we've turned the TVs off and back on. We've signed out and signed back in.
No, but how about going to the router modem, whatever you've got there, and rebooting that?
Well, I haven't tried that yet, and that is worth a try.
Is
I
it always
tried
on
it
the
and it
same?
worked for me.
Is it always on the same TV?
Well, we always sit down in the den, the first TV, and that's where we have a problem. We've gone to a second TV in the living room. Sometimes everything works, sometimes it doesn't. Then we go in the bedroom and try it, and usually it does. But and sometimes it seems like when it works on a second or third TV, it'll suddenly start working on the first. But
And
I'm not sure.
also remember that when you click your remote and turn the TV off, your TV is not turned off.
Right.
What I ended up doing is I put a plug, an extension in the back wall behind my TV, and I plug my TV into that. But before I did, I'm putting it into one of the automated power plugs. And so using my Amazon Miss A, I can shut off the wall so there's no electricity going to it. And then turning it back on, then turn it on with the remote, and things that were broke now are fixed.
Yeah, I can
So
try
when-
that too.
Yeah, in other words, you're rebooting your TV. When you just shut it off, you're putting it to sleep, because that's why when you push the button again on your remote, it will come back on, because the TV really isn't off. It's getting that signal saying, okay, now make me alive.
Yeah, there's a
So you-
couple good ideas I can try.
Okay, well,
This is Bobby.
hopefully we've sort of works for you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thanks.
Okay,
This is Bobby. I'm in Glendale, Arizona.
I think
I have
can
the
we
same
mute
trouble.
Bob? Do you see who's talking? We
Yeah,
can
I
mute.
think she's talking. I don't know if she's talking to us or not.
Are you talking?
She's saying,
It's Bobby John Hecken.
Yes,
go ahead, Bobby.
I'm in Glendale, Arizona. I have Cox. I have the same problem. And
Oh,
you have to unplug from the wall, plug it back in. Sometimes you have to go in and run the troubleshooter if you're on wireless or wired, and let that reconnect it.
She's
Just
doing somewhat what I
same problem.
suggested. Yeah.
mhm. Thanks, Bobby. That's good. Thanks a lot. Yeah.
So
So Eric, do you want
next
you can
week
try
you
that?
get to tell us if it works.
Yeah, tell us next week if it works. Any other questions? Any other questions?
Eric, you have to try it using one of our videos, though.
Yeah. Yeah. So what did you think of? What did you think about the blood tests, everyone? Do you think smart watches will be the future here? it's interesting.
Nope.
You-
It's not out yet, and
Not
no one
out
has
yet,
said
but-
that it works. So
I put a lot of, there's a lot on our Facebook page. I put a whole bunch of more articles that the watch thing is all heating up because of course Samsung in a couple of weeks will be discussing in Barcelona their Galaxy Watch 4, and we'll see what's going to happen.
When I see one that actually works, I'm not spending another dime on a smartwatch.
Yeah, I know.
have enough of them.
There's lots of speculation.
Gordy,
has
when
his
do you
hand
think
up.
when do you think the accuracy of blood pressure readings will be good on a watch?
Oh, it is on the Samsung Galaxy 4. That's I'm assuming that app is being cleared now in the States, and it will work. And you should be able to get an accurate blood. It's FDA approved. It's a level 2 device on your Galaxy 4 for blood pressure.
Okay, thank you.
Gordy is next.
Gordy, go ahead.
Yeah, on that same subject, very interested in what the watch or any of those devices will do for diabetes related.
Well,
Not yet.
for sure. But I will, and I just published this morning the another leak, but this is a real, like, if they've got everything down to the cost, the date it's going to be released and everything. The Apple Watch 7 will have a diabetic we'll do a blood sugar monitor for you. And that will be out mid-September. I think September 15th is the release date. The prices even are there, and they're going to keep the Apple Watch 6. It'll be discounted in the Apple Watch. What the SE, they're going to keep it, and they'll keep those two and keep discounting them. And then the 7 will be out, and it will be your. But that's, as I said, that it's the holy grail, right? Everybody wants to have that as your measurement. But we'll see. We'll see. Now, I will say that for those watching this carefully, is that the one thing about Apple is when Apple releases the product, it generally works or quickly works. One of the problems we had with the Galaxy Watch 3 was, particularly with the cardiac monitoring, they released it for worldwide shipment, but the cardiac monitoring part didn't work in the United States because it hadn't been cleared by the FDA. And it didn't get cleared for a year, right? And in Canada, it didn't get cleared for about 14 months. And that's the same on the Fitbit Sense. So one of the things I want to watch for is, Galaxy may come out and say, yeah, they can do it, but it isn't implemented yet, so, and it could be a while. So I'm waiting to see. It's more likely when Apple brings it out that it's actually going to work. And so, so we'll just have to wait and see. I mean, all this is changing rapidly. The things are heating up. More and more articles are coming out. This is exciting stuff. I like it better than football. Like, it's really cool to watch all this stuff happening. So lots more to talk about. George.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, you're fine.
Right. So the jab thing. Yeah, my son was just going for a pre-op blood analysis, and when the blood came back, when the analysis came back, they said, "You get yourself to the hospital. You seem to have jaundice and extreme dehydration." And he wasn't aware of this at all. Now, this is not going to be measured, I take it, by the Apple Watch, right?
Well, no, but it depends on the cause. I mean, that doesn't sound like diabetes, but but it could be. I mean, if you did have a bad case that your blood sugar was extremely high and you got very dehydrated, it could lead to jaundice, and it could be a symptom of diabetes. I mean, that's certainly possible, and the Apple Watch would pick that up. So one of the things that those of you who have the Fitbit Sense watch, there's a whole sort of technology about stress. You put your palm over the watch face, and it all has to do with how much stress you have. And how they figure this out is the amount of liquid in your sweat. And there's actually a sensor in the watch, and this is called the electrodermal activity. And they actually can measure it. And the amount of sweat that you produce is related to your hydration, right? And so
that would have been indicated.
Yeah, that would have been indicated. And that would have been indicated. So the technology is there. And as I said, what they looked at, what that study did is it looked at the data that's available now, they actually use the Fitbit Sense watch, and they use the watch, and they use the existing technology and the data that's being recorded, and they wanted to find out if it coexisted, if they could predict what the blood test would be, right? And so and they tried to do that, and it there was some correlation there, but it's not specific. And to be fair, I mean, if you had a thyroid test and your thyroid was low, that's not something that's an urgent thing that you need to know right now. If you had the blood test and your doctor phoned you up that week, then it's fine. You can deal with it. But a blood sugar is not something like that. It's something here and now. So that's why the watch is so much. If we can predict exactly what it is and what your blood sugar is, we'll be fine. And again, this will be FDA approved. You got to remember that this has got to work. In other words, when they say your blood sugar is X amount, it's got to be there. And that's why these devices will be certified by the FDA as a level 2 medical device to measure your blood sugar, just like a glucometer would be. If you went and bought a glucometer at the drugstore, that you poked your finger and measured your blood, right?
Yeah.
So
did you put a link to that study?
Yeah, well, it's in it's all in my video.
Okay.
Yeah, just look at the video and it's all there for you. And it's I published it's up online now, so it's there.
Thanks.
And who else have we got? Oh, Murray.
Yeah, early on you mentioned Amazon Prime, but I think in a previous session you said that's not available in Canada. Is that correct?
Yeah, they're not having Prime Day in Canada because it's the big problem in Ontario with the COVID and the fulfillment centers. I got a feeling they're still going to have lots of sales on in Canada, though. I got a feeling that that's coming, but no official word on Prime Day. No, they're not having a Prime Day in Canada.
Could you order something from the States and have it shipped to the States?
Yeah, you can do that. In fact, that's I do that on a lot of clothing, like shirts, t-shirts, and stuff I buy. Some of them have free shipping to Canada. Some have it's pretty darn cheap as long as it's light and fairly easy to move. Some of them are quite readily acceptable to shipping to Canada, and I do that all the time. And it's you don't have any trouble with customs. It's all just sort of done. It just arrives at your house.
Yeah, I know. I've lots of times I've ordered stuff from the States. It might be $20 for the item, free shipping, $30 fee from UPS or somebody, whoever tries to deliver it.
Right.
Real pain.
Yeah.
But I do have a cousin in Oregon that I hope I might get to visit sometime this year.
Well, the other thing that I'm thinking of doing, I was just thinking about that this morning, is that I'm thinking about getting an Amazon credit card. Now, who needs another credit card, right? Like, I mean, you're all looking at me like you are nuts. You don't need another credit card. However, I will tell you that you're going to get a significant saving if you're using your Amazon credit card. When it could be about 5%. And when you get up to the volume that I order on Amazon, probably, I don't know if I do as much as Bill James does, but I order a lot of stuff on Amazon. And, to get a 5% discount, just by putting it on that credit card is going to be a saving. So I'm thinking
Does it give you
about that.
discounts on other stuff you buy too?
Yeah, anything you buy and purchase on Amazon, it'll give you a discount if you use your Amazon credit card.
You also
Gordy
get
has been
points.
waiting patiently.
Sorry?
Gordy
You
has
also
been
get
waiting
points.
patiently.
Gordy's been waiting. Oh, Gordy, you got your hand up still. Sorry, I thought. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I froze up, so I don't know when you stopped hearing what I was saying or what you said in a reply.
Sure. Could you just briefly review that again, quickly?
Yeah, so I was talking about an individual in the family with diabetes,
right,
who is on an insulin pump and also uses a continuous glucose monitor.
Right.
And that's tied into an Apple Watch. So she's able to monitor her blood glucose levels quite well. So my question was on that, like I said, she uses an Apple Watch. So we're looking at, if they come up with that technology, we'll get the newest Apple Watch. Is that feasible?
So no. So what we're talking about two different things here. She's probably using the system where there's an electrode that goes under the skin. All right. And this continually That's right. And this gives you the link, and this broadcast is, so it is actually is a blood body fluid connection, right?
Yes,
And
it is.
it broadcasts the result of that to the watch, and the watch has that particular app on there and reads it. All right. And that's and so really it's not the watch is just running an app that does this, right? What we're talking about is bloodless. In other words, there's a type of laser beam on the back of the watch that will actually take the information from the skin, and they run the lasers through the skin and can tell you what your blood sugar is. So it's bloodless. So there is no other technology that you need to do your blood sugar. You get the watch, you stick it on your wrist, boom, and it works. Okay.
So that could replace that continuous glucose monitor. She uses a Dexcom CGM now.
Yeah, except I guess this is the first technology that's coming out, right? This is the prototype. Although Apple usually is pretty good. I expect they've tested this very well. Usually Apple products come out, and particularly something like this, you want to get it right the first time you're out. And Apple always usually wants to get it right. So I've got a feeling it's probably going to be okay, but remember, it will be the first edition of this. And so this is something that's going to have to be carefully watched with people who manage diabetes and look at this and decide, particularly if you have very brittle diabetics, that we're dealing with people's lives and so on and so forth.
Right.
Yeah, you want to really
FDA approval.
Yeah, well, it will get FDA approval. It has to have FDA approval to be released. But
basically, you're talking about the 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 sticks per day versus somebody who's constantly monitored. And there's a big difference between
There's a big
those two.
difference, yeah.
There's also a problem of how much battery do you expect your watch to have, and how long do you expect it to last if it constantly needs to be monitoring this?
Yeah,
So,
I don't know. See, those are all good point, Bob. I don't know that. So Gordy, that's all gonna come up pretty quick though, because it's gonna, and again, I would expect this is all being tested because as I said, Apple usually brings stuff out that's had a good, that's been well tested.
Okay. Well,
So
I'll be sure to watch the news. I thought there was something on Bloomberg News this morning about it.
well, watch what the first part of this will be in a couple of weeks with this Barcelona thing and Samsung. That'll be the first clue of what's going to happen. That's going to set the stage, because they're talking about Wear OS now, not the Samsung is given up on their Tizen operating system, and they're collaborating with Google. And I got a feeling Google's got something up their sleeve here, and they're being real tight-lipped about it. And so we'll see what because that's what the Samsung Galaxy 4 watch is going to run. It's going to run on Google Wear, which is a whole different ball game, whole different operating system. Everything's different with Google Wear. So we'll see what they say. But for sure, the article I just put on the our Facebook page this morning was a really good article on the Apple Watch 7. And again, it confirmed all the stuff that I just said today. So it looks it's coming for sure.
Oh, good.
And of course,
Thank you.
It's going to be version 1.0 of this.
Right.
And you don't want to stake your life on the results. You want to dual check it for quite a long time before it and make sure that it's doing what it should be doing and it's doing it correctly.
Did that with the finger sticks along with using the CGM. That went on for quite a while.
Yeah.
You get comfortable with
Yeah. So, but remember, there's 30 million Americans have diabetes, right? So the cost saving of this you're going to run into, because you don't have consumables to use. The cost savings of this could be huge. So we'll see.
True.
We'll see where it goes. All right. Any questions before we go? Do we have any other?
No hands up.
No hands up. All right. Hey, listen, everyone. Thursday morning, Bill James is going to reveal his top 3 gadgets that he has. And I've already put Hewie and Bob on standby because I just bought another gadget that I bet Bill doesn't even have. and it's coming on Thursday. And I might even get a video done next week on my new gadget that is going to blow all your gadgets away. So anyway,
Come on,
you better
stop doing that. I can't afford it. Can't afford it.
So
I just got another crowdsourcing ad today on something that looks like it'll probably ship in September or October, and I may go ahead and order that. So I won't even talk about it until then. And I've got I've got an Indiegogo and a Kickstarter. I'm waiting on both of them, maybe later this month or sometime next month. So yeah,
my
these
wife is gonna-
gadgets
yeah.
can get awful expensive.
My wife is going to talk to your wife and maybe.
all right. Hey, Bill, we'll see you on Thursday morning, eh? Unmute
I'll be
yourself.
there.
Yeah.
I will be there.
You know, we're gonna have a real good chat. Too bad Hewie might even drop in though, eh? We might have a guest appearance from Hewie.
I'm going to do my first breakout since the beginning of the COVID and go to a luncheon. And if possible, I may sign in for a few minutes
On
and
your
join
phone.
you and say hello, show you my a soup of the day, and wave to everybody. Take a picture of my food and then go away.
All right. Till next week, you guys. We'll see everyone next week. And thanks for coming. And we'll see some of you on Thursday morning. Bye now.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.